and can't breathe, so tight in her solar plexus, kind of constricting the lungs a bit.
Okay, so now you go to step 2, which is influence. Now working directly with the inner aspect, ask how it has been affecting and influencing the client mentally, emotionally, and physically. So, influence. How's this been affecting and influencing you mentally, emotionally, physically?
Weighting me down, constricting like my solar plexus, so kind of a more uptight or tense feeling. Can't breathe, so not breathing deeply. Clouded mind, burdened. And I think, step 1 was the time to go in a little bit of what's been going on that lent to triggering this.
I gotcha.
And I think it's just a natural occurrence of what I'm dealing with in my life right now. Right now I'm bringing out my life's work and the books and the audio, my music, and launching.
You just worked with a client in France today.
Yeah, this today, France and Colorado, my clients.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on with clients, with a 2-year training course I just opened up for 7 individuals. So I'm training these people twice a month each. Launching the multimedia company, getting the productions done, and I had the nonprofit that's bringing out Sacred Alchemy worldwide. So
it's completely understandable.
Juggling a lot.
Juggling a lot.
And I was doing really well with it because I am really good at balancing time, eating well, but add in a boyfriend and his issues, and now today there's a cloud. So
gotcha. Okay, so that's what we're
that's what I'm dealing with.
So that's kind of step 1, 2 we've been through.
Trying to understand what's happening for the client and what is the burden. And I think the burden came in last night because my boyfriend is going through a challenging thing through his work, and he came with a dark cloud. And we were discussing it, and he's had this dark cloud for about 3 weeks. And so I'm juggling all this, and then I'm excited to see my boyfriend. We only have like 2 hours in the evening, given our schedules, and he comes burdened with a dark cloud, and our whole discussion is that. I'm very empathic, so I care, and we've been meaning to do his session, but we have to wait till his day off. So I woke up this morning and I had the cloud.
Well, we know how easy that is to take on somebody else's cloud.
Because I care and I would like to help, and but my best way is through Sacred Alchemy, and we've had to wait and delay because of his schedule. So it just felt like, so I would add into number 2 the feelings, kind of disappointed because I want to play and have fun when we see each other, have it be happy and romance and passion and excitement, and do something exciting or at least interesting, and so many days it's this same issue and this issue revolving, and then add on that I'm a person, I move through my stuff very fast. So I don't go 3 weeks with issues. I have longest will be 2 days or 3 depending how busy I am. So I haven't yet trained him in this. He's starting to take the training. So
along with everything else, I mean, there's a certain feeling of that I'm just getting that you're used to moving through things more quickly, and here's a situation that's dragging on, and you just want to play, you want to move on, you want to have fun. Okay, yes. So it's kind of dragging me down. It's giving that dark energy. I feel like it's depleting rather than empowering me at this crucial time in my life. Though I want to be there and compassionate, 3 weeks is feeling long for me, Gotcha.
because this person's not skilled in this. And so it's really about in these sessions to go away from what's happening outside and to start going within.
Gotcha.
So now, dealing with her, she's now like in a black mud kind of heavy energy, getting weighted down and tired and disappointed, and wants to be her best self right now for all her projects and bring her highest self, and instead she's getting pushed down.
Gotcha. Okay, so now would be time we move on to step 3, which is history. So now we ask this inner aspect, and you delineate that out. So this, we're not even calling this you. This is an inner aspect.
Yeah, you shift after step 1. Once you get the visual image, now you shift, because I don't know the answers to these questions, but this part knows everything. So you shift, and now you're the counselor is actually working directly with the inner aspect.
Okay, so ask the inner aspect to show its history of similar feelings and experiences all the way back to where the pattern originated, and then see what was taking place at that earliest time.
I guess the first earliest similar would be when I was producing this album. We had this glorious life in Kanapali, beautiful villa, and the recording studio in-house, and I was writing. I was doing very landmark research in the psyche.
What year was that, or how long ago was that?
This was like it must have been around 1999, 1998.
Okay, so 8 years ago.
And my son at that time, one of my sons, started going through something pretty horrific, and had a lot to share as he was going through this time, and it was a length of time, and it really burdened my heart to see him going through this. And we're very close, and very close with all my children, and it was like a weight, and then I'd have to go do my sacred alchemy session to clear, so I could handle what he was going through and myself make it through it. So yeah, that was the earliest similar. And then going back probably to Oahu, 4 small children, my very ill mother, dealing with some of the excruciatingly painful things she was encountering, and being responsible for her, and on top of all that was happening in my life. And at that time, I had groups, and I think a TV show, The Quest for Truth, on Oahu and Maui, and was doing a lot, handling a lot, and then kids, and then this ill mother. So a similar kind of feeling where I needed to then clear myself to handle, because it's like, I think for me, I can handle a lot. For some reason, maybe the 4 kids helped. I can do a lot, and handle it pretty gracefully. But then it just gets to the point where you add one more thing onto the equation, and it's like,
the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah, you're just holding your own. You're just making it through. You don't know how you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're like lately, I'm like, whew, I'm just going to keep going, because there's so much for me to do, and yet. And how can one person do all this, and yet I'm getting it done, but then you add on one more thing,
right.
And it's just like, whew.
Yeah, I'm sure we've
hard.
all experienced that tipping. It's just like, I can't do one more thing.
It's just like, I don't know
one more thing.
Yeah. So, as much as I adore this person, it is an added burden to now, have to assist him. But then it's exciting, because he's looks like he might start the 2-year training, and so I love training people in this and helping them be masters of this. Going back further, I would say cross through the idyllic childhood, nothing really there. I think something in early childhood dampened my spirit, something like 3 years old. I think just being like a child, where you're bright and excited about life and passionate and creative, and the family dynamic, something with my dad I'm picking up with his troubles at work, the interactions with my mother and me, which may be less than loving and supportive. I think taking on the weight of my family dynamic, like 2-3 years old, is when I'm getting back to because I can feel that same mud type heavy weight and dark cloud around me. And so instead of being able to frolic in the yard and like kids do, I can see this little girl just weighted down, just burdened by their dynamic.
Yeah. Okay, so now we go to step 4, which is self-judgments. Ask what self-judgments and beliefs that the aspect took on. Ask how these influenced your life. Have the aspect go back to the earliest time to see if the judgments and beliefs were really true. Ask the inner aspect what your future would look like if the pattern continues. So how would you go through that around this issue, the self-judgment?
Yeah, I'm seeing a little back further in the womb and just really feeling my mother's pain in the womb and her burden of being working and pregnant and this dynamic and the finances. The beliefs I took on, I think there's a belief around life is hard. Somehow responsible to make it better. I'm responsible to make it better even though I'm a baby in the womb or a 2-year-old, but some kind of wiring around if somebody's unhappy, I feel it, and therefore I have to help them. To fix it, I have to help them.
So I'm just going to interject here. So you're going back in the womb here. This is something. So you're getting some sense of in the womb.
Very much taking on the first burden. And maybe that's why this part showed up with the cloud all around, the dark all around, like the womb, like the dark. Because that's the feeling right now, being kind of encased, can't breathe. Maybe my mother's constricted in the airflow by her tension and stress. And so it's like a wiring, like if somebody outside is suffering, I can't be happy or something, or I can't be joyous and abundant and creative and happy when there's somebody suffering, and somehow a wiring of taking on that, taking on their pain or taking on, being too empathic. And I think, for me, I do feel everything, and I am tapping in a lot of times to the suffering in this world. I care so much, and I care about my friends, my family, what they go through. And I think because I care so much and I feel it all, I tend to be reclusive a lot. I'm like very social and love friends and outgoing, and then 3/4 of the time I'm reclusive.
You need the time and
work
space.
on my projects and just hold alone. And I think I learned to do that to compensate because I feel too much and I care too much about what everyone's going through.
I mean, I can relate to that because I'm very much like that as well. So I can really relate to that.
So if I know what's happening with you and 8 other people, my mind's thinking solutions, my energy's, running on, the people, solutions, what can help, and feeling their pain. And it's a lot, and sometimes it goes global. And I think that's good in one sense because it's compelled me to bring out something to give to humanity. And I do think of translating my work. I am committed to translating my work globally and into the hands of the layperson, not just the practitioner. So it helps on one side, but on the other side, it's this cloud that this part is under. And she's in the womb and she's like, oh, and life on earth is hard. People have hardships. It's hard to be happy and bright and to be my full self here because when others are suffering, it's like it's somehow not appropriate or something's, let's see how she wired it. It's, how can I be happy and joyous and abundant and creative when they're suffering?
Yep.